people. Conversation today with a good friend. I had a conversation with a good friend, and this is about a project that she's creating, but it ended up sparking some sort of what feel like deep themes in my own life. And one of the central facets, one of the central themes, I guess, although it's even more than a theme, it's like the space within which the story takes place, is the experience of grief. And, we talked about what grief is and what it does to us, and who experiences it, what kinds of people experience grief. I mean, on some level, probably all of us do, at various times. Depends where we are in our journey and all of that. And I was observing something. I've observed something in myself for a while, which is that it's like I almost have a fascination with grief. I wouldn't call it a fascination. It's not really the right word, but it's like there's been this sense of when I begin to feel that emotion, it's almost like I'm craving it somehow, or I'm wanting to expand into it. And for a while that sort of troubled me. I was like, what's going on here? Am I attached to grief? Am I trying to manifest sad things in my life? Is this some kind of pattern that's producing things for me to be sad about? But I knew that wasn't really it. I knew that there was something else going on, but I couldn't really define it or fully explain it, fully articulate it to myself. And so what was showing up today was this amazing feeling. It was this amazing sense of grief as a doorway into connection. So there's this way in which when a human being, when we're wrestling with, life and death questions, loss of a loved one, reckoning with our own mortality, any of these things that bring us really face to face with the nature of, that just remind us that life is temporary, something shows up in that. Which is like, I almost perceive it like, it's almost like a dome of connection that expands out. And all of a sudden, I'm experiencing the universe on another level. It's like I have access to what life is all about, to what this whole experience is all about. And so what has started to really reveal itself, and what I find so touching and so affirming, is the fact that this grief that I in feeling my own kind of craving for it, or my own at least attraction to it, that I really wasn't going for negativity, or trapped in negativity, or trapped in sadness even. It doesn't seem like it comes from events in my life that I'm grieving over, although it's always good to look at that, because that can also be the case. But what I started to see was, I'm not craving the grief, I'm craving the connection. I'm craving this sense that life is about something so much larger. And that's the sense that we so often lose. It's the sense that it's the aspect of life that it's so easy to kind of get. It's easy to just get distracted and not to remember. But when we come into contact with these events, these moments, these deep, often painful experiences, and we're reckoning with life and death, all of a sudden it's impossible not to feel, and it's impossible not to put our attention on this larger aspect of life. And in that sense, it's like grief is the greatest gift. It's the greatest gift we can receive, and it's just something it's here to enrich us. It's here to serve us. It's here to elevate us. It's here to remind us. It's here to connect us. It's here to bring us into reality. Because we're at a place where our ego is overwhelmed. Grief takes us to ego overwhelm. The ego can't cope with massive grief. The ego knows pleasure and pain, and it wants pleasure and it doesn't want pain. When the ego is faced with massive grief, it has nowhere to go. And so oftentimes, it drops away. Our ego says, all right, you drive. I don't know what, I can't deal with this. And that's precisely the gift, is that our ego then can disappear and actually fight with us less, and sort of accept that there's something so much greater going on. So this is what's been coming through for me, and I'm learning to both be so grateful for not just grief itself, but for this conversation that I'm having with my friend, and this practice of really looking at what's going on in these various huge human spaces because that's where another level of understanding resides. It's not. It's not obvious. I think that's where I am today, people. Just allowing myself to feel gratitude for those parts of life that just overwhelm me, and which end up being invitations into the domains of life that I couldn't have imagined, and that the small self, can't even fathom until they arrive. So, yeah. Much love to you all. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you deeply, deeply. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon.